Hey buds, today we're going to go over my build for the Necromancer. Um, and this I plan on taking through each season and updating the build as we go through each season. So as we start now, we're at level 78. We're obviously an Echo. We want Bone Skill build. Um, for our abilities, we're using Bone Splinters as uh, our generation with vulnerability. We got 2 points in Unliving for Essence Max. We got Blight with Supernatural Blight for the increased damage. Got maxed out Bone Spear with Primordial Bone Spear for the extra 5% critical chance. And the additional 2 projectiles. We also have Hewed Flesh. Only 2 points in there. We have Grim Harvest for a full 3 points. We have Fueled by Death for a full 3 points. Just so that way we have extra essence for when Bone Storm eats the corpses. Or we use Corpse Tendrils. And every time we do that, we get an additional 9% damage for 6 seconds. We also have Death's Embrace for a full 3 points. We have Amplify damage for a 9% damage increase to cursed enemies. We pulled Decrepify with Abhorrent for the additional cooldown reduction there. So that way we can also have slow and damage reduction while they're decrepified and blighted, so that way we can melt them faster. We have Corpse Tendrils with Blighted for the Blood Orb, but we don't necessarily need the Blood Orb. This is kind of just a flex spot. Same with the Crippling Darkness is another flex spot. We got Reaper's Pursuit, so that way whenever we use Blight, if we need to reposition because we're in a bad spot, we have the maneuverability to do that. We've got Serration for a full 3 points for the Bone Skill crit chance for every essence, because we're trying to only cast Bone Spear above 50% essence. After critically striking 10 enemies, we gain 15% increased damage for 5 seconds on Bone Skills with Compound Fracture, full 3 points. I don't even know how to say that. Bone Skills deal 18% increased crit strike damage to vulnerable enemies. They're always going to be vulnerable with our Bone Splinters. We use Standalone for a full 3 points. So we have an 18% reduction in damage. We also have Memento Mori. We have 16% additional for sacrificing all of our summons. We got Bone Storm. This one here is our oh snap button. We're about to die. We pop this one. It has increased crit chance by 20% while Bone Storm is active. And then we also use Ossified Essence. Bone Skills deal 1% times increased damage for each point of essence you have above 50. This is why we keep it above 50. For our gear, we're using Deathless Visage. If this dropped less frequently than it does, I wouldn't have this. But if you guys don't have it, you can use anything that gives you survivability with some DPS here and there. It's not really big, but you want at least something to fill this spot till you get it. You can use Aspect of the Protector or the Protection aspect for survivability there. For the chest piece, we're using Shielding Storm. Ideally, you want as much DPS to come from the chest piece as you can. That's why I have physical bone skill damage. The strength is a bad roll. That would be preferred to be main stat or another way to supplement damage output. We're using Grasping Vines for the hands. The 2 ranks of Bone Spear are amazing. You need that for sure. The Crit Strike with Bone Skills is a must-have as well. Wherever you can get Crit Strike with Bone Skills or Crit Strike in general, take it. We're using Disobedience for the legs. We're trying to maximize damage reduction. This would preferably be damage reduction, period. Damage reduction while injured, damage reduction to close enemies, and then any form of damage reduction that you need help with. It could be ranged, it could be slowed, or reduced damage while you're CC'd. Anything of that nature would work fine. The boots, it's kind of a whatever area. I use Wind Strikers just for the extra maneuverability. Essence cost reduction is definitely a must-have for them. And anything to just overall increase your maneuverability. The only skill I would reroll on this one for sure is the cold resistance. Outside of that, it's probably about as good as you can get for boots right now. The weapon, I use the sword for the innate critical. You can use the scythe for life on hit. Since you're going to be killing stuff so fast, you'll probably be at full HP the entire time as well. But if we drop below an acceptable amount of HP, I just hit health pot and good to go, and still dole out the crit damage. All stat, I would switch it out for another crit strike chance percentile instead of all stat, but for this roll, it's a decent roll. The Amulet of Serration, the only two that I really enjoy off of this one is the crit strike while against enemies while they're injured, and the bone skill damage. The cooldown reduction is nice. If we had a crit strike damage instead of healing received, this would be a good, almost perfect roll. I would be using this one, but I don't have another Serration. So I'm basically using this amulet till I can get this one into a legendary form with Serration aspect. I'm using Osseous Gale for the ring. The crit strike damage and crit strike chance are good. The biggest flex spot here is damage for 4 seconds after picking up a blood orb. I would rather that be more narrowed instead of being specific to a blood orb, specific to an enemy whether slowed or something of that nature. The shadow damage works well with our blight. The Ring of Torment, I'm using the Torment aspect, I believe it is. I keep getting them confused between Torment and Umbral for some reason. But this one is pretty much a perfectly rolled ring. I don't see myself replacing this at any point in the near future. I'll usually bounce between Torment or Umbral for this ring, depending on if I feel like I'm not having enough essence, recoup type thing. This one, it's also another flex spot. But with this, we were able to run a tier 40 at level 78 and kill a level 94 Butcher without much issue. Sure, a few moments where it was like, uh-oh. But it went relatively smooth. So yeah, as we progress through the seasons and whatnot, I'll still work with this character, rebuild him each season, try and stay with the rough blueprint. Every time there's a major deviation, I'll update the build, whether it be in a Diablo 4 builder website or just completely upload a new video about it. I'm going to continue to support this build through the seasons and keep it going. If there's a dramatic change in bone, then like if blood is good for that season, then I'll rework everything to a blood build. But I'll primarily try and make it so that way Bone Spear Necro is basically level 1 to level 100. With this blueprint, focus these aspects with these affixes on your gear, and you should be able to breeze through everything. There is much more content for the Necro to come. It's just over time, as it changes, I'll update and move on from there. So thank you all for watching the video. This is the clip of, or the full Nightmare Dungeon run of tier 40, where I ended up killing a level 94 Butcher at level 78. So thank you all for coming out. It's been fun. I will see you in the next one. Till then, take care and have fun.
need more time. I'm not ready yet.